What is up, everybody? It's your teacher, Mr. Lim, back with another video on the math channel. So grab your pen, book and calculator so you can take notes while I work through a variety of math questions. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the math channel. In today's video, we are going to be looking at rationalizing the denominator. Now, sometimes the number in the denominator is irrational. It's a surd. For example, 3 over root 2. So we can't write root 2 as a fraction, so it's irrational. Rationalizing the denominator means to rewrite the fraction, but without a surd in the denominator. Now, how do we rewrite anything? How do we rewrite any number or any fraction so that it's exactly the same? Well, all we're doing is we're creating an equivalent fraction by multiplying it by 1. Okay, when we multiply this by 1, we will get 3 over root 2. But there are many ways of writing 1. We could write 1 as 5 over 5, because 5 divided by 5 is 1. That will give us 15 over 5 root 2, which still technically simplifies to 3 over root 2. So it's exactly the same thing. So we need to be creative in this way. In order to rationalize the denominator for these types of questions, we need to multiply it by 1. The question is, how are we going to write this 1? Well, we're going to multiply this by the surd in the denominator. We're going to multiply it by root 3 over root 3. Because root 3 divided by root 3 is 1, so technically we're not changing anything. So when we multiply fractions, we multiply across. 2 times root 3 is 2 root 3. And root 3 times root 3 is 3. And that's it. We've gotten rid of the denominator, of the surd in the denominator. Okay, it's now a rational number. So in question B, it's the same thing. The denominator is root 5. So we're going to multiply this by 1, but we're going to write 1 as root 5 over root 5. That way, when we multiply across, 3 root 2 times root 5 is 3 root 10. Okay, root 2 times root 5 is root 10. They're both underneath the surd. But when we do root 5 times root 5, that's just 5. Okay, root 5 times root 5 is root 25, and the square root of 25 is 5. And that's it. We got rid of the surd. Question C is the same thing. We're only looking at the root 2. Don't worry about the 5. So we're going to multiply this by 1, or in this case, root 2 over root 2. When we do that, we'll have 2 root 6 times root 2, which is 2 root 12, over 5 times root 2 times root 2. Well, root 2 times root 2 is just 2, and 5 times 2 is 10. So we can simplify this to root 12 over 5. Okay, if we have a look at this, 2 over 10 simplifies to 1 over 5. Can we simplify that surd in the numerator? We can. That root 12 can be written as root 4 times root 3. And the square root of 4 is 2. So technically we have 2 root 3 over 5. Question D. We have 1 minus root 3 all over root 3. So denominator is root 3, so we're going to times this by 1, or root 3 over root 3. But when we do this, we need to put this in brackets. We're going to times the entire numerator by that root 3. 1 times root 3 is root 3. Negative root 3 times root 3 is minus 3. Okay, root 3 times root 3 is just 3. Put that all over root 3 times root 3, which is just 3. So root 3 times root 3 is just 3. Okay, we can't simplify that. This does not simplify to root 1 minus 1 over 1 does not simplify to that. Okay. Alright, let's have a look at question E. Here we have 3 minus root 6 all over root 10. So it's exactly the same as question D. I'm going to multiply this by root 10 over root 10. But remember, this is in brackets. 3 times root 10 is 3 root 10. Minus root 6 times root 10 is minus root 60. All over root 10 times root 10 is 10. Can we simplify this? Yes, we can. That root 60 can be simplified. But after that, I don't think we can simplify the fraction. So let's just simplify this. 3 root 10 minus, well, root 60 is the same as root 4 times root 15 all over 10. And so we can rewrite this as 3 root 10 minus, well, what is the square root of 4? It's 2. So we have 2 root 15 all over 10. And we can't simplify that. Question F, same thing. Okay, we're going to multiply this by root 8 over root 8. So remember, this is in brackets. Root 11 times root 8 is root 88. Root 7 times root 8 is root 56. Root 8 times root 8 is just 8. Okay, we got rid of the third in the denominator. Can we simplify this? Well, here we've got root 88. That's divisible by 4. So we've got root 4 times root 22. Root 56 is also divisible by 4. So it's root 4 times root 14 all over 8. That simplifies to, well, the square root of 4 is 2. So we've got 2 root 22 plus 2 root 14 all over 8. Now you see here, they both have both of the numbers in the numerator outside of the third are divisible by the same number that the denominator is divisible by, and that is 2. So we can divide all three of those numbers by 2, but only what is on the outside of the third, not what's on the inside. So when we divide that by 2, that simplifies to root 22 plus root 14 over 4. Technically, you can just factorize out a 2 in the numerator and then just simplify that way. Okay, question G. Here we have 5 over 2 root 3 plus 2 over 3 root 2. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to split this off. We're going to rationalize each fraction. So I'm going to look at this fraction first, and I'm going to rationalize that. So we've got 5 over 2 root 3, and I'm going to multiply that by root 3 over root 3. And then we'll have a look at this one, 2 over 3 root 2, and we're going to rationalize that by multiplying by root 2 over root 2. So, the first one, 5 times root 3 is 5 root 3. Root 3 times root 3 is 3, and 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times root 2 is 2 root 2. Root 2 times root 2 is 2, and 3 times 2 is 6. Hey, they both have the same denominator. So we can add the two fractions. So we have 5 root 3 plus 2 root 2 all over 6. And that's it for that question. H is exactly the same thing. So I'm going to break it up. I've got this fraction here, 10 root 6 over 7 root 5, which I want to rationalize by multiplying by root 5 over root 5. And then I've got this fraction here, 4 root 2 over 3 root 3, which I want to rationalize by multiplying by root 3 over root 3. So let's have a look at the first one. 10 root 6 times root 5 is 10 root 30. Okay, remember we can only multiply the numbers that are both underneath the third. Root 5 times root 5 is 5. 7 times 5 is 35. Minus 4 root 2 times root 3 is 4 root 6. Root 3 times root 3 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Now, if you notice here, they do not have the same denominator. So we're going to make them have a common denominator. I'm just going to cross multiply. 35 times 9 is 315. And now I'm going to cross multiply like this. Okay, so 10 root 30 times 9 is 90 root 30. Put our minus sign. 35 times 4, 70, 140 root 6. And that's it. I hope this video has helped you rationalize the denominator. If so, please remember to give this video a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the math channel for more math content coming soon.